If you look at the entire world of Wall Street, it can seem like total chaos, but it actually operates on the exact same three-step production system as your local grocery store. At the very top of this financial food chain sit three groups. We call them the super asset classes, and they are the building blocks for every single financial product ever created. You can decode any of them by looking at two things. First, is the asset independent, meaning it stands alone, or dependent, relying on something else? Second, what is its job? We want to know its specific economic role. When you look at the markets through these two lenses, even the most complex jargon starts to make sense. Let's start with the first group, underlying assets. These are the raw ingredients of the entire system. These assets are completely independent. They exist in the real world on their own, just like the physical wheat growing in this field. Their first possible job is production and consumption. This is when an asset is grown or mined specifically to be used up or transformed, like wheat being milled and baked into bread. Their other job is financing. This is about moving money from someone who has it to someone who needs it. Think of it like the bakery raising cash from an investor to buy a new oven. In the real world, these independent raw materials are things like stocks, bonds, physical oil, and real estate. Without these foundational ingredients acting as the starting point, the rest of the global economy has nothing to build on. But farming is risky. If a storm rolls in, the value of that wheat could plummet. This brings us to the second group, derivative assets. These are dependent assets. They are derived from the underlying wheat, which means if the wheat isn't there, the derivative can't exist either. Their job is risk management. When wheat drops, the derivative reacts, providing protection. By signing a contract, a farmer locks in a selling price. On this timeline, that's the flat line. If the market crashes, his price stays the same. Because of that contract, the farmer is protected. The derivative's value moves in a way that saves him from the loss of his physical crop. On Wall Street, we call these contracts options, futures, and swaps. At their core, these are just essential insurance policies built to protect the real economy from unpredictable changes. Now, let's leave the farm and head into the processing plant to see the third group, structured finance. These are dependent, engineered products. They are created by bundling thousands of individual underlying assets together. Imagine buying wheat and fruit from 10,000 farms and blending them into one mega smoothie. Turning a massive pile of ingredients into a single tradable product is securitization. This single product does two things at once. It raises money and manages risk. Because we've blended 10,000 ingredients together, if one single farm has a bad harvest, the thousands of other successful crops keep the total smoothie valuable. That's how it manages risk. Because the smoothie is now a stable, reliable product, the company can sell shares of it to investors all over the world to raise fresh cash. That's the financing side. This is exactly what happens when a bank bundles 10,000 individual home loans together to create a mortgage-backed security. Structured finance takes simple raw materials and transforms them into products that fuel global lending while protecting the system from individual failures. When you look at them side by side, the journey from a farm to a table is the same as the journey from a loan to a global investment. It starts with underlying assets, the raw materials of our economy that stand on their own. Then come derivatives, built to track those assets and manage risks. Finally, everything converges into structured finance, where raw materials and risk tools are engineered into new bundled products. The next time you see a headline about a complex financial instrument, just look for those two things. Is it independent? And what is its job? If you can answer those, you'll see that the global market isn't a mystery. It's just a giant grocery store.